Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jack Knives. It's time to once again look into the Matt Reeves Batman universe with the new Max exclusive series, The Penguin.
It's just the beginning.
After the Riddler floods the streets of Gotham and kills Carmine Falcone, head of the Falcone crime family, Oswald Cobblepot, or Oz for short, is trying to orchestrate a plan between the Falcones and their rivals, the Maronis, in order to become the true crime king of Gotham. However, what no one expected was the return of Sophia Falcone, the deranged serial-killing daughter of Carmine Falcone, who everyone knows as the Hangman. Gotham's underworld is all in flux in a battle between the Falcones, Maronis, as well as the Hangman and the Penguin. I don't really know what I was expecting from this show. I was kind of thinking it was going to be similar to a grittier aspect of the show Gotham, but more sort of like The Sopranos. Partially that feels true. But what I wasn't expecting, and it is a good surprise, is the brutality. And rightfully so. Colin Farrell reprises his role as the Penguin, and yeah, he keeps you 100% engaged. He is just this domineering presence, but not an unrealistic. He's sneaky, he's conniving, he's understandable, he's relatable, he's perfect. He's the perfect character for Penguin. I hate using that word, but really it felt perfect. In the Batman, he was kind of just a Cliff Notes character, so we didn't really get much to go off of him other than he was a second in command for the Falcone family. That's it. But here we see more about him. We see more about his family life, his struggles, his limp that is 100% justified when you see why he's limping. It's like, ooh. It shows so much more depth into what you don't say. You don't say why he is the way he is. You don't explain away of, oh, well, see, what happened to him was this happened to him and blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. What they did instead was the proper use of film. They showed it. They showed it masterfully. And it's not just him that does a great job, too. The entire cast does a good job of keeping you on edge, and you're not even sure where you're going to be and what's going to happen and who's going to betray who and what's going to happen to the next person. This kid who ends up helping him, named Vic, who's played by Renzi Feliz, he feels like a kid who's way over his head, but he's also starting to taste the poison of the apple. But not in an overblown, over conniving, manipulative way that I would see in so many gangster movies. To the point where it's practically cliche at this point, and I'm just like, ugh. That was the one thing I didn't want it to be, and luckily it doesn't do that. It gives you just enough to make it diverse enough, just enough to make it unique enough. There are people within their own circles who don't trust one another, and it's clearly all a power play, but not out in the open, which is what you need to do to enthrall the audience of who is in charge, who is backstabbing who's working for who's doing what with what. I thought it was brilliant to have Clancy Brown play Salvatore Marone. Clancy Brown has a long resume. Most people probably know him as Mr. Krabs, but I'll always know him as Lex Luthor in all of the different DC animated series. But he brings this gravity to him because people forget he's such a good actor and he feels genuine. He's threatening, but he's not overly threatening. He's dark and menacing, but he's also kind and interesting. That's the telltale sign of what I think. When I always thought about Falcone and the Maroni families, I always expected them to be, one is far more ruthless, that being the Falcones, and the Maronis were a little more on the, okay, lull you in like a Venus flytrap. And Clancy Brown plays it off beautifully. The rest of the cast has great just chemistry with each other. And this great balance of special effects, practical effects, and overall it felt intense, just going like a roller coaster. But it also gave enough time to breathe between each episode, and enough time to space it out to make you feel empathy and sympathy for certain characters. But the star of the show was ironically not the titular character of the Penguin. It was Sophia Falcone, also known as the Hangman, played beautifully and perfectly by Christina Milioti. Many of you probably know her as the titular character of the Mother in How I Met Your Mother, but she's been in a lot of other roles, and she is an amazing actress. And here, she steals the show. Every time she's on screen, she balances manic, disturbing, scary, crazy, funny, interesting, dark, and she's a great villain. She's a great character. Other than the critically acclaimed Long Halloween, she's never really used. And it's a shame, because I think she is such an interesting character that really, to pull her out of the woodwork and to use her to the fullest extent, pure genius. The series was written by Lauren LaFranc, who most people probably don't know, but I believe the biggest credit she's had is making 48 episodes of the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I never really watched that show, but from some of the friends that I have that have watched those shows, she apparently did the bigger, more serious, more dark and gritty episodes of that series. And if this is any indication to that, then that would make a lot of sense. Primarily, she's known for working on television, so it made sense for Matt Reeves to kind of step back as more of a producer role and kind of overseer, and to allow other creators to get their hands involved, as they were able to expand the world of Gotham without really dipping too much into his movie, but obviously still setting it within the same setting. And we do also see the aftermath of the movie and how it's affected Gotham, how the crime has risen and the sewer has risen. There's even little Easter eggs of people going into the subway and trying to get people to see the true face of Gotham, like the Riddler wanted, and Penguin just going, "Get out of here." I love that little Easter egg there. Honestly, I kind of want to see more expansions of the Matt Reeves Batman universe. Is this a straight up sequel to The Batman? No. But it is enough to keep you satiated, and enough for me as a Bat fan to truly love and appreciate it for what it is. I give The Penguin 5 out of 5. Have you seen The Penguin? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I'll see you next time.